Hey Tracie's Place fam, welcome back. And to those that are new, welcome. Today we're making chicken and dumplings, and we're going to go ahead and start off just real quick by telling you what we have. And here I have 2 packs of chicken thighs, and you can make it with any type of chicken you want, but I love dark chicken, the dark meat. It just is more flavorful, and there's plenty of meat on the thighs. You can use legs if you want to, but they had these on sale at Kroger's, $2.63, and the other pack is $2.23. Very good price. So I went ahead and picked those up. I have a sweet onion here. We're not going to use the whole thing, just about a little less than half, because this is a big onion. And we have garlic. We're probably going to use about 4 cloves of garlic. We have some butter, cream of chicken soup. We have sweet peas, carrots, green onions, and of course we're going to be using this good tasty broth off of the chicken. I like to bake my chicken instead of boiling it or another process, because when you bake chicken, for some reason it just gets all that good golden juice right out of that chicken. It's more flavorful and more potent. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I won't show this process because I think everybody can do it. All you do is wash off your chicken, put it in a pan, a long oblong pan. Your, what is it, 13 by 8 or however big will fit all the chicken that you have. And you're going to season it really good. Put olive oil on it first. That's what I do. Put olive oil on my chicken after I wash it off. Put the olive oil on. I season it. You use whatever seasonings you want to. Use poultry seasoning, Sazon, pepper, garlic powder, whatever you use. And after you season your chicken, you are going to put onions in there also around in your pan. And you're going to fill up. You can also put celery in. If you have celery, go ahead and put a couple of celery. Maybe use 2 stalks and slice it up. Put it around in your water. But you're going to fill that pan up with water a good halfway or a little over halfway. And that's where your broth is going to come from. Okay? So go ahead and get your chicken into your oven. That's what I'm going to do. And I will be back. Just decided to pop it on and show you what I'm using, because I know some people and I have to remember, some people are new at cooking, so I wanted to show you what I use. This is the Sazon, and then this Himalayan pink salt, this black pepper with garlic, black pepper and garlic. Oh, y'all, if y'all have no seasoning at all, use this McCormick Himalayan pink sea salt with the black pepper and garlic. It is delicious. It's like an all-purpose almost as well, but it is delicious. I put it on my French fries here lately, and just all around seasoning for other things. I'm using it for this chicken and other dishes, but I love it. Put it on my salmon too the last time I made it. I also have garlic powder, and I am using the Italian seasoning, some chicken flavor bouillon, this Knorr's. This is actually this is actually the powder. These are not the cubes. This is powder in here, so it's just easier to use to me. You sprinkle how much you want real quick. And then this Cajun seasoning. I love Cajun seasoning. It does not add anything hot at all. It's just a good taste. It's like, All right, so those are the seasonings that I'm using today. And it's going on my chicken. Also, guys, along with your celery, in with your chicken, go ahead and put your celery. Chop up your carrots. Also put garlic in there, about 3 garlic cloves. Just rough chop them and put them in the water with your chicken. And also the onion and a little bit of butter, maybe about a tablespoon or a little less of butter. And a few pieces of green onion. Rough chop a few pieces of green onion and put it in there with your chicken in the water. And just to show you, I have used less than half of the onion. That's this right here. And then this is how I chopped up my carrots. I used 2 big stalks of carrots and cut them up. Some of them are already in the pan with the chicken. I just decided to show you a little bit of the little veggie chop prep process before I put it in the oven. And I'll show you the pan of chicken too. And here we go, guys. These are the chicken thighs. I have the carrots cut up in here. The carrots, the celery, the onion, green onion. Also, you can't see the green onion that well because I put it in first, so it's down at the bottom. But I try to put everything around the sides and in the middle of the chicken so that it gets flavored as well. But the veggies are going to get soft and tender, so you won't have to do too much, you know, afterwards. That's why I put them in with the chicken, and then they're going to get good and flavored. So, oh, also the little slivers of garlic are in there too. So I'm going to cut up just a little bit of butter and put butter in here also, maybe like 2 tablespoons, and just cut it up and put it all around, and it'll melt into the juice. Also, I put my chicken on 375 degrees for about 50 minutes or 1 hour. We want to use a little bit of chicken broth to help flavor the dumplings. So I have 3/4 cup of milk here, and this is just 2%. You want to use whole milk if you have it, or you want to use heavy whipping cream. If not, the 2% will do. And I'm putting chicken broth in. I'm going to do a little over 1/4 a cup of chicken broth. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator to stay cold. So now you want to take 2 1/4 cup of self-rising flour. Pour that into your bowl. And you're going to go ahead and add your milk and broth mixture. I'm going to add it in a little at a time. And we're just going to get this until it's just combined, which doesn't take long. So it's going to be super sticky. You don't want it too thin, is what I mean. You want to make it a good consistency that's going to stand up as a biscuit or biscuit dough. And if you see more flour still in there, you keep adding. So this should be just enough. All right, and we're going to get this turned out onto our floured surface. All right, so the surface is floured, and what you want to do is put flour on your hands. That way the dough won't stick so much to your hands. It's going to stick a little bit, but not as much as if you didn't have none on at all. So you want to keep a little extra flour over there for your hands, and also to keep the surface floured. Okay, so we are going to just flour the top of this dough, and it's sticky under the bottom. Get the flour, loosen it up from the bottom, get it turned out onto your surface. Your hands are going to get messy, so expect that, of course. Flour the outside of this dough ball so we can handle it. All right. And this is the fun part. It is so fun to work with this dough. So what we're going to do is we're going to knead this dough, fold it into layers. And we're not making a biscuit, so you don't have to do it too many times. But you just want to knead it a little bit. You do it with your fingertips. Some people do it with their knuckles. Whatever's more comfortable for you. You don't want to overwork the dough. You don't want to make it tough. Okay, so now you want to press it out. You want to flatten it. And for that, you will need a roller. You don't have to use one. You can do it with your hands, but it'll take a while. So you want to go ahead and get your rolling pin. Okay, so we want to get flour on top of that dough. And you also want to flour your rolling pin, so that the dough won't stick on there. And you just want to go ahead and roll it out. And you want to roll it out as thin as possible. Okay, so there we go. And you want to take a pizza cutter. You can do a knife, a sharp knife if you want to, but a pizza cutter is very easy. You kind of want to run it through the flour. And you just want to cut it into strips. I don't like mine super long. So you want to cut enough so that people get enough, of course. You just don't want to make a few big ones. I see where some people just make big ones and they don't have as many in there. I like dumplings in every bite. And then you want to just cut the other way. I like little squares. And there you go. You just want to keep a damp cloth over them until you get ready to put them into your dumpling broth mixture. All right, guys, I just took the chicken out of the oven and it just looks beautiful, but we're not going to eat it like this. We're going to shred that chicken off of there and use it for our chicken and dumplings. But as you see, the vegetables are cooked, so I'm going to dip the vegetables out of there. And I'm going to add the broth over into this pot that I have over here. And I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, I'm going to take the chicken out with some tongs. And we have to get rid of this beautiful skin on here. And that's okay, of course. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead and dip all the vegetables out and put it into a bowl. And then I'm going to put the broth in the pot that's waiting to the side. So here's the chicken broth in the pot. And there is the chicken and the vegetables back there. And the reason why I did not put the vegetables in the broth is that the vegetables are already ready. You don't want them to tear up and get all soggy and everything in this pot while the dumplings are being made. So what I'm going to do now, this is not enough broth for the dumplings. I'm going to add the rest of the broth that I had with the milk. I'm going to add the rest of that can in here. I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to put in the can of condensed chicken soup. I'm adding the rest of the chicken broth. I went ahead and filled up the empty chicken broth can with a can of water. So I'm adding that in. Now I'm going to add the condensed chicken soup. I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner on high. And I'm going to go ahead and add this can of cream of chicken condensed soup in. So you want to whisk this around so that it gets incorporated. Just get it whisked around until it's all combined. And if this is not enough broth for you all, you can add in another can of cream of chicken soup. You can add in another can of water and another can of broth. While this is starting to boil, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and add in 2 cloves of crushed garlic. I love garlic. I'm going to go ahead and add that other can of cream of chicken condensed soup. Wish I had more chicken broth, real chicken broth off of the chicken, but it just was not enough. I'm going to add in a cup of water off of the cream of chicken can. And I'm going to add in the second can of chicken broth. There we go. That's enough liquid. Get that all combined because we want to get that second can of cream of chicken soup all incorporated in that chicken juice and chicken broth. Now at this point you want to taste your chicken broth and see if it needs any more seasoning, and I did that already. I tasted mine. I'm going to add in a little bit of this Himalayan pink salt, the black pepper and garlic. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of that in. We're going to put some of this chicken flavor bouillon, and you guys taste it as you're going along. I'm going to put a teaspoon in, and you want this to your taste, to your liking. I'm going to put Italian seasoning in, and this does not make it taste Italian-y, but Italian seasoning is just good in a lot of things. So this is not coming out fast at all. So I'm just going to put about 1/4 of a teaspoon, well, no, half a teaspoon in. I'm going to put some parsley flakes in, and I'm going to give that a stir. And this seems like it's just sitting right on top, so you want to stir it in. And I'm going to put in a little Sazon, about a teaspoon. And you want to get that all stirred in. All right, guys, you're going to let this come to a boil, and then we're going to add in the dumplings. So you want to add the dumplings now, one at a time. When it comes to just a little simmering boil, see it percolating? Want to put them in one at a time, and you don't want to put them in on top of each other. Make sure that they are separate. Okay. I have a lot to add, so I won't show it all on camera, but you want to get them in there, and I'll show you what they're looking like. Oops, one overboard. And here they are so far. I have a few more to put in though. All right, guys, they are all in, and as you can see, I've made a mess on the stove, but we're going to cover these. It took about 5 minutes to add all these. They got a little sticky, and I had to put a little flour on them. And a little flour on the dumplings is good because that helps to thicken the broth. So I'm going to cover these, and we're going to cook them for about 6 to 8 more minutes. They're on a medium-high heat, so I'm going to go ahead and shred the chicken while the dumplings are getting ready. I'm going to take the skin off, and you can shred it or chop it or however you want to. Excuse my floury hands, but I just put the dumplings in. I'm going to rinse off my hands right now. I'm going to go ahead and start chunking up and shredding my chicken. So it's been about 6 minutes now, and just want to check them, and they are looking good, looking really good. And they're not ready yet though. So I'm going to let this go about 8 more minutes or so. And you want this at a little bit less than medium, between low and medium. Alright, so here is the chicken pulled off the bone. I'm going to go ahead and start chunking up my chicken. I like to have little chunks instead of, shreds of chicken. I don't know, I just like the consistency of it a little better. Nothing wrong with the shreds, but I just like little chunks, So I'm going to chunk up my chicken. Okay, so it has been a good few minutes. Like I said, your total, you want to be about 20 minutes or no longer, about 18 to 20 minutes. It's as far as letting your dough for your dumplings cook. They look good. Now I'm going to go ahead, get my spoon here, and I'm going to put my chicken in. So it's going to be nice and dumplingy and meaty. A lot of dumplings, a lot of meat. And then while it's still on simmer right behind the meat, I'm going to add in my vegetables. Don't they look good? They're not overdone or anything. They're nice and bright. And I put a little chopped green onion in there so it can just simmer in here. I like fresh green onion when you just add it at the end. So it will just get warm through and it won't be all, super mushy or anything. But I like bright green onion. It looks so good, doesn't it? So we're going to let it simmer for about another 5 to 8 minutes, and then we'll be done. Look at that. Oops, I almost forgot about the peas, you all. I'm not going to add too many because my daughter doesn't like them. I don't want her to have to pick too many out, but we're just going to add half the can of peas. And there we go, a nice bowl of chicken and dumplings, you all. Let me know how they turn out for you if you make them. Bon appetit.